Good evening everybody, how are we all doing? Hope having a good weekend so far. So today is the 1st of November 2014. I'll just say that again, the 1st of November. We are now in November. Yeah, next week Wednesday will be Bonfire Night, Guy Fawkes Night, whatever you want to call it. Then obviously 25th of November in the States will be Thanksgiving. And then we know what happens next month. So yeah. Anyway, so we're back with Constantine, episode 2, titled The Darkness Beneath. Slightly better episode than the pilots, I have to admit. I thought that this one was actually more interesting. Storyline and the plot was a bit, iffy in some places. But we do meet the new character, a girl by the name of Zed. She has been having visions of Constantine. She doesn't know why, and she literally bumps into Constantine in a little place called Hedditch in Pennsylvania. Constantine's there to investigate the death of one of the miners there, who's, I wouldn't say spontaneously combusted, but it was quite, not an isolated incident either. Clearly it's something spiritual, which is why Constantine is investigating, and he's not too sure about this character Zed. He just doesn't trust her as such, and he doesn't really want her to be around him either, but he does help her out with, he uses her help essentially to try and get to the bottom of what's going on in Hedditch with the miners and such. And obviously this guy that's died isn't the first one to be killed, not in the mines but outside of it. He was actually he was having a shower when he was set on fire. So it's quite intriguing, because during the funeral rather, Constantine goes to visit the house of the widow. He, as a guest, even though he's not welcomed, everybody had to bring their own food. So Constantine brought a frozen TV dinner, which I thought was quite funny. Threw away the packaging and just set the dinner on the table and went investigating. So he found something quite interesting, and used it on Zed later on, to try and find out if there's some sort of clue or connection to how this guy, was set on fire. It works to his favour. Zed's not happy that he left her behind to go and pursue the investigation by himself. But we find out later on that what's actually happening in the mines is that they're not necessarily, I mean, they are, yes, people are dying essentially, but it's to do with a supernatural force that previous miners who have died are warning the current miners of any dangers of like a cave-in and such. Okay, and the way that it works is that they never go to the surface, but somebody's obviously bringing these dead miners to the surface, and that's where Constantine's trying to figure out who's doing it, why are they doing it, is it for revenge or something. We later find out, there are certain suspects. We've got the guy who owns the company that's doing the mining, his son. We've got a guy who used to be a priest for the church where there was another incident, which is where the clue comes from in the first place, that Zed saw the vision of, that Constantine was using her for. So there's about 3 or 4 suspects, including the dead guy's wife from the beginning of the episode as well. So it's up to Constantine and Zed to try and, sift out who is it that's causing these dead miners to rise up. Okay, the collective group that they're known as is known as the Coblinau, Coblynyau, Coblinau, because when Constantine was in Liverpool, obviously there was the connection there with the Liverpool miners as well, as we'll remember back in like the early 80s, sort of it, when Margaret Thatcher was in power. So there is that connection there, that he experienced something similar, in that there is this group of dead miners, a spirit, the Coblinau, known as a spirit that informs the miners, hey guys, get out of here, there's going to be a cave-in. Okay, but as I said, obviously someone is bringing them to the surface. and you know, we do eventually find out later on rather who it was that was bringing these spirits up from the from the miners from the mines basically. So again, as I say, overall the episode was quite interesting. I actually do like Zed. I know I'm going to miss Lucy Griffiths on screen. I hope eventually we may see Liv appear again, maybe probably for like an episode or two. But I think Zed's going to be a good partnership for John. And it'll be interesting to find out why she's having these visions of John as well, because at the end of the first episode last week, we saw that she was drawing Constantine, and she was doing that again in this episode, which is how she bumped into him in Pennsylvania. So yeah, very, very interesting to see how that one's going to develop over time. But other than that, again, as I say, really good episode. Looking forward to next week's, and we'll see what happens there. I think next week's episode should be interesting. It's yeah, it's Midnight is what it's called, so I think that's going to be a certain Papa Midnight's going to appear for the first time as well, so I'm looking forward to that. That'll be awesome. Anyway, thank you all very much for watching. See you all very soon. Bye.